We're going to take a look at a Brody video where I talk about which states will be trending Republican and Democrat in the 2024 presidential election. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We have hit 80 subscribers in the end of 2021, so I would applaud everyone for that. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. If we look at the 2020 presidential election results, Joe Biden shifted most states to the left, but that shift is likely going to go to the Republicans in the next election, considering that Donald Trump is more than likely, or any Republican is more than likely to win the presidency as it stands right now. So I'm going to be taking a look at all of these states and deciding whether or not they're going to trend Republican or trend Democrat, and by the margins in the description down below. You're likely going to see very much lean and tilt trends because it's not likely that a state is going to trend 15 points towards either party. So let's get right into the video. I'm going to start with the West Coast here. Honestly, most of these states are going to trend towards the Republicans. If we look at trend in 2016, Democrats did shift a lot of these urban, ex-urban areas, but that shift is likely going to reverge a little bit, so I do expect Washington and Oregon to trend Republican by about a lead margin. Possibly, actually, a tilt margin, because both of these states may have more progressive candidates and may want the Democratic candidate a little bit more. But for California, I think that will be a larger trend because Joe Biden actually lost. The state actually trended right compared to 2016 by the nearest of our margins. But in the San Francisco Bay Area and in the county of Los Angeles, these counties actually trended right compared to 2016. So yes. Now going to the state of Alaska, I expect the state to trend Republican as well, because Trump wasn't the strongest candidate for the state. Going to Nevada and Arizona, I both expect these states to maybe flip towards the Republicans, and therefore they're going to trend towards the Republicans. Going to Hawaii, this is a long trending state towards the Republicans, so I would expect them to win, the state to trend towards the Republicans. In the state of Utah, this state is actually trending left quite a lot. If we look at 2016 with Ben McAdams, you can see every single county except one trended towards the Democrats. And in 2020, despite Evan McConnell not even on the ballot, the state still only trended 2 points right. So I expect the state to trend Democrat by the slightest of all margins. Idaho, Wyoming, the Dakotas, I think all will trend towards the Republicans. Rural states, these states are typically more Republican-leaning in their trends. In Montana, a little bit conflicted on that one. I'd say trend Republican just because of the national environment. Going to New Mexico, that state probably trends towards the Republicans given the national environment. Going to Colorado, probably also trends Republican. Pretty narrowly, but yeah, it still trends Republican. Texas, though, it's going to be quite difficult to discuss. There's going to be huge trends in these rural areas and these Hispanic areas. But going to Dallas and the counties surrounding Dallas, Houston, and Austin, I expect those counties to trend towards Joe Biden. Or any basically Democrat. So in the end, though, I think it's still trending towards the Republicans slightly. Oklahoma, yeah, I still see the state trending Republican. Kansas, though, I see the state maybe trending Democrat. I don't know. I'm a little bit conflicted on this one. I'd say it's trending Republican, just given the national environment. In the Nebraska, there's redistricting in Nebraska, which is going to affect its electoral votes. Nebraska's second probably trends red by a likely margin. Nebraska's third, and Nebraska's first. So Nebraska's first, I think, will trend Democrat by the slightest of margins because of redistricting, while Nebraska's third trends Republican also slightly. The at-large vote trends Republican slightly. So that's going to be the map here. Going to the Rust Belt, I expect these states to trend Republican as well. I think the GOP is going to grab a lot of the support in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania and flip those three states, giving them lean Republican trends. Minnesota, I expect a similar trend. The state's not going to flip, but it's going to trend by that much of a margin. Going to Iowa, I think that state's going to trend Republican, and Ohio. They're sort of maxed out for Republicans in the rural areas, but I think they're still going to trend Republican regardless. Missouri and Indiana, I also see Republican trends by slight margins. While in the state of Illinois, that state's trending Republican as well, because it's actually trended Republican in 2020. And the largest trend probably is in Chicago and Cook County, who's trended 2.9 points towards the Republicans in some of these downstate rural areas and some areas next to Iowa and Missouri, which trended a lot towards the Republicans. Oopsies. Anyway, if we look at a lot of these states down in the Sun Belt, which are also pretty conservative states, we can see the trends. Basically, the more urban areas trending blue and the more Republican areas trending red. I think in the end, I think all these states will trend red by the slightest of all margins. And Tennessee, I think, also trends red as well. At this point in time, in the state of Kentucky, probably trends red as well. West Virginia trending red rapidly, also going to the Republicans. Florida, I'm a little bit conflicted, but I'd also say Republicans get the edge here due to the Hispanic trends. But in the state of Georgia, this one's really tough. I don't really know. Based on the trends in 2020, you expect the state to trend left, but would that be offset by the national environment? I honestly don't know. In the end, though, because Democrats only have 7 electoral votes, I'll just give it towards the Democrats. In South Carolina, I think the state ultimately is shifting left, but due to the 2024 expected environment, it's still probably going to trend towards the Republicans. Also, adjust some of these margins. It's actually not that fitting for a lot of these states, so I actually adjust a lot of the margins. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, here you go, a updated map. In the state of North Carolina, the state is not really trending either way, or shifting either way, but based on the national environment, it's probably going to go to the Republicans, as they are, they have basically a 50% chance of flipping the popular vote. Virginia, yeah, that state's trending red. Glenn Youngkin won the governorship there, but Republicans honestly won't win that race. Going to these areas, if we look at the trends, if we look at a lot of these states here, first of all, going to the state of Maryland. Maryland trended left pretty heavily, even in some of these rural areas. Frederick trended 12 points towards the Democrats. And Maryland's not a state I think will trend Republican, because there's just very much a lot of urban areas in the state. However, neighboring Delaware will trend Republican, because honestly, Biden was born in Wilmington, and that should have helped him in the state. Going into the state of New Jersey, Newark, so Access and Tustin trended red, but in most of the state trended blue. I'd still say it trends red because of the natural environment, and basically Biden didn't do as well in the state as other states in this region. Going to the state of New York, the state actually trended red because of New York City, but Hillary Clinton was from this area. Donald Trump was previously from this area, so it probably just evened out, but Biden's doing very well in New York City. This is also going to be one of those tough decisions I have to make. But I say due to the national environment, it also trends towards the Republicans. DC probably still trends towards the Democrats because it just, due to how blue it is, it's probably not trending Republican. Connecticut, I think, will trend Republican due to the fact that the Democrats are just not going to do that well in the state anytime soon, as well as that neighboring Rhode Island probably trends Republican. At this point in time, Massachusetts will be will be a little bit harder to decide. But look at all of these counties trending Democrat by insane margins sometimes. Yeah, I'm more convinced giving it towards the Democrats. In the state of Vermont, similarly, every county trended Democrat, despite Biden being less of a progressive than Hillary Clinton, in my opinion. So, I'd also give that state towards the Democrats, honestly. But going to the state of New Hampshire, look at the trends. Again, every county trended blue, but I don't expect the Democrats to do as well as they did this election, so I'm going to give that towards the Republicans. Going to Maine, there's redistricting and a whole bunch of stuff. Take into effect, Maine's second, I think, trends toward the Democrats slightly. Maine's first probably trends towards the Republicans due to redistricting. Maine at large, yeah, probably trends toward Republicans. So this is the map here. The Republicans get 487 electoral votes. Every swing state except Maine's second and Georgia. Well, the Democrats only held 51 electoral votes trending to them, which also includes some of their safe states and really some states that they're not going to win. Anyways, thanks for watching today's video. Be sure to leave a like in this video. Also, please make sure to subscribe if you want more content like this. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye.